Hello, everybody. Well, that was that was fun. Yeah. So if you didn't watch, you should go watch that first before watching this. I spoke with Doug Lain of Sublimation Media. He used to be with Zero Books, and we didn't get to touch upon. I think the what set off our online discussion in full as much as we should have. I mean, the whole thing that we were going back and forth on over the past couple of weeks has been the Twitter files specifically, and that we touched upon a little bit. I would love to talk about him about that more with him, but yeah, I thought it was. The problem is, I mean, listen, I think Doug is a nice guy, but the I don't know how you have how you have this back and forth with someone who believes that what happened is a First Amendment violation. It's not in any way, shape, or form. It's just not. And if someone can't understand that, then you can't really go any further than that. Submitting tweets or going through Twitter's own process for reporting tweets that break their policies and recommending that a tweet to them that could possibly break their policies in no shape or form is a First Amendment violation. The government is not forcing Twitter in any way to take down any of these tweets. The fact that they don't take down the vast majority, nor do they block the vast majority or suspend or ban the vast majority of users that get sent to them is proof of that. I don't know what else to say. Like, it's just, if it was a First Amendment violation, then we'll see it go through the courts and it'll be an easy win. But it's not, because it's not a First Amendment violation. I don't know what else to say about that. I didn't get to bring it up because he had to go, but he kept citing this article from a right-wing website that cites numerous right-wing authors, including one that wrote a book called where is this? Muslim Mafia Inside the Secret Underworld that's conspiring to Islamicize America. That is one of the sources quoted in that tablet article that's written by someone who complained. The author of that tablet article complained that he was supposed to go on Tucker Carlson's show to discuss his article the day after Tucker Carlson lost his Fox News show. I mean, I don't know how to, in good faith, have a discussion with someone who uses those sorts of materials as a source. I don't know what to say there. I don't know what to do. I mean, it's sad because I know Doug. It was, I'm pretty sure he's the guy who signed Michael Brooks to that book deal with Zero Books. I'm almost positive. The guy who contracted Michael Brooks to write a piece on the IDW is now defending the work of IDWers like Michael Schellenberg or Michael Schellenberger, whatever the fuck his name is. The same guys who rail about how everything's a Marxist plot and cultural Marxism, meaning the Jews are trying to take over, which Michael Schellenberger constantly references Marxist, cultural Marxism. IDW guy, it's the guy who got Michael Brooks to write that book. Well, he didn't get Mike. He paid Michael Brooks to write that book, or signed Michael Brooks to write that book. It's sad. I don't know what else to say. It sucks. What could you do? I don't know if anyone wants to talk about any more about it. I thought I would stream for maybe 45 minutes. Like a little post stream because I was already streaming. Um, yeah, he's friends with Ben. Anyone who's written anyone who wrote for Zero Books, like during that like 10-year stretch or whatever, I'm pretty sure went through Doug. Um, I think he is concerned about the DHS and government overreach. Um, I do believe that. I also believe he's an older individual who doesn't, like Taibbi, doesn't quite get what's commonplace in the tech industry and what exactly certain things mean. And how, yes, a lot of these companies have certain backends and certain systems to be able to deal with government requests. He didn't want to talk about Musk a lot. I'm disappointed about that because that's the reason why there's Twitter files. Because then we could have got to the fact that Twitter actually had a really good record of defending its users over the years from the government. They would consistently, at least compared to other social media platforms, actually go to court to fight government requests for user information. Twitter was actually really good on that front. Since Musk has taken over, not so much. In fact, they have given over, last I saw, based on Twitter's own transparency reports over the years, they're giving over roughly more than double the material they used to government requests. Twitter was actually going through the legal channels to stop India from censoring users in India. That's no longer the case. Elon Musk's Twitter now straight up abides by what the Indian government tells them what to do. I mean, that's real problems there. But I mean, I'll tell you, the Twitter files showed me that as much as the old Twitter sucked, they were actually much better at their job than I thought they were. Even what was selectively put out there, because they don't even they like Taibbi and Musk don't even know what they're looking at. And this is just my opinion. A great resource for this is actually, I gotta have him on the show, Michael Masnick of Tech Dirt. This guy's like an old school civil libertarian. Like not the current right wing libertarian stuff, not the guy that debates Sam Cedar, but like a legit old school civil libertarian, been writing about tech and government overreach and government policy issues for decades. And this guy straight up says himself that the Twitter files showed that Twitter actually did a pretty good job compared to other social media platforms at dealing with content moderation. All right, let's read some comments, I guess. Songs 4K, why don't you call into the show? Open up Skype, type in Doomed Live. I'm going to open up Skype right now. You can call into the show. I talk to anybody. You should call in. Anyone could call in, honestly. Phone lines are open. Let's see. Songs 4K said, oh, we got a call. Let's take this call. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, this is Alan from North Carolina.
Hey, Alan, what would you like to talk about?
I wanted to make some comments on the debate first, and I guess I just want to say it's just really weird to me that somebody would want to talk about misinformation, wouldn't disinformation, but use the crux of disinformation to talk about censorship and not actually talk about the actual censorship that's happening in Florida, or the actual censorship that's happening all around the country, where conservatives are
Right,
trying to close
because
libraries
they're
down.
they're more concerned over big federal government issues than I actually think the state governments are routinely way more worrisome in terms of what they do. Absolutely, local government is the most corrupt.
I just don't. I don't even if the stuff that you were saying on Twitter was supposed to be protected speech, but I don't think it is. You, I don't find that to be. I don't find the government trying to tamper on that to be in any way. Even if they were, which I don't even concede that they are, I don't see that as worrisome as maybe most people do. I understand that, like, the concept of, you know a government entity interfering in Twitter, letting it, is like worrisome in general, but I don't find that to be like an impending danger the way that he seems to think that it is. I just, because of the fact that I don't put it against any government to try to tamper on speech in that way. I think that, if we look back at the history of this country, that's never been something that this country has been, opposed to. Like, if this country beats protesters, why would be surprised that they would, like, try to get in on speech somewhere? I mean, it's just like a tweet
Well,
over
listen,
beating a protester.
I don't think Doug is one of these guys, but the guys who he reads clearly are. Like Michael Schellenberger of the Twitter files doesn't give two shits about the rights of protesters. The dude is right winger. He constantly rails against Marx. Like, that's the thing here. Like, that really is amazing to me. Like, Doug is finding an outlet. His trusted sources of information are literally against everything he claims to stand for. Like, he's trying to align, and he's going to say, oh, don't, you're playing partisan. Well, that's the whole point of the Twitter files. That's the whole point of this information that's coming out. I mean, you can easily cite The Intercept's reporting on various leaked documents regarding government agencies monitoring social media. But he doesn't do that because he's reading these right-wing sources via the Twitter files. I mean, there are plenty organizations reporting about what's been going on with social media content moderation over the years. But one thing that always has stood out to me since these Twitter files started dropping is that, oddly enough, all these files are from 2020 and on. Where are the Twitter documents from 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016, 2015, 2014, 2013? But none. Why don't we have any of these Twitter files, so-called Twitter files, from during the Trump administration that's not about the election and focused on Joe Biden? It's because Elon Musk doesn't want them to have it. It's because it blows up his entire facade of what he's trying to prove, is what he's trying to manipulate people with and show.
Even I think it even showed that in the Twitter files, because he's taking files from 2020 where Joe Biden was running for president, not the actual president at the time, and he glosses over the requests that were made by the actual government to focus on the requests that were made by a presidential campaign at the time. And he doesn't find that to be weird.
Taibbi never ever dropped those Trump takedown requests, by the way. We never got them. We never got them.
Not until they were testifying.
Right, and one Twitter employee shared the Chrissy Teigen story. Chrissy Teigen made fun of him and Trump requested they take it down. I doubt that's actually the worst of it. That's probably just one of the more memorable ones to that specific Twitter employee who may not have been all that political. I'm sure there are way more interesting tweets that were requested to be taken down that just, to someone who's not, in this world, probably maybe just gone shit over their head.
Right. And then you have to think that, like, like he did concede that if he concedes that Elon Musk is this paragon of um of hampering down on free speech, like he said, he conceded that. So if you concede that, then you have to consider what Taibbi did as a limited hangout, meaning that you have to treat it with you have to treat it with a level of critique that he was not willing to treat it with. He said that, it seems that, he has, like you said, it's important to understand the context in which things are released, but he seems to think that, we should just look at the context of what it is. Even in that case, the Twitter files, the context of the actual substance of the Twitter files are nothing burger. So like, which he even conceded. So it's like, what is the I don't understand what the big, disinformation hamper down campaign is, and the issue with that. I don't think that's something that he was really able to formulate in his, like, he wasn't really able to come up with a really good example of somewhere where a wrong was committed by the powers that be, I guess. And that's kind of my issue with having the conversation in the first place, when there's actual egregious attacks on free speech going on in this country every single day.
Right. I mean, there's an agenda here, obviously. It's based on the fact that all these Twitter files, and not one, deals with the right wing, Republicans, the fucking Trump administration, who was in power for the main 4 years of this entire disinformation conversation. None of it touches upon that. I guess it was just a perfect 4 years where the Trump administration just let free speech reign on social media. I highly doubt that.
And I do also want to say that I went to the EIP, the election, election information, or the election, I forgot what it is anyway. But I was at that. I went to the website, the election integrity project. That's what it is. Election integrity project, and they're based in Canada. So like, I don't understand the like the deep connection that he was trying to make between, like, it sounds like he was trying to do like this thing where like he was following the money, and I don't think $4 million is enough to fund that entire camp. I don't think that's enough of a funding to.
Well, I'm not sure what you're looking at. The election integrity partnership is from Stanford.
I'm not sure partnership. I guess I was looking at the election integrity project, which is a different thing.
No.
So I guess that's my fault. I was confused.
I mean, I honestly do not have a problem with the government stepping in to make sure voters are disenfranchised. In fact, that's a good thing. I'm sorry.
Some would argue it's the job of the government, as the Voting Rights Act. I don't know, but I guess.
And also, the EIP researched and then sent something like 4,000 tweets to Twitter to look at, and Twitter got to decide which stayed up and which were taken down based on their own policies. They didn't. It wasn't like
it's basically Twitter just like a mass reporting mechanism.
Yes, and one that was actually researched. It wasn't even like a mass reporting mechanism. It was actually a researched project where they meticulously looked through these millions of tweets and chose 4,000 or so ones that actually, in their opinion, did break Twitter's rules. So they referred them to Twitter to take a look at. It's very, very simple, and it makes a lot of sense. And Twitter rightfully decided which ones actually broke their policies and which ones didn't. And they took down the ones that they said broke their policies and left up the ones that didn't. The I don't know if this was the EIP one or if this was, I think it wasn't the EIP. I think it was like the DHS or someone. They wrongly flagged a joke tweet, which they wrongly flagged it. Again, if they had the outright power to take it down, they would have just taken it down, but they didn't. They wrongly flagged a joke tweet to Twitter. Twitter caught that it was a joke. They left it up. That's how the system that Twitter has set up works. And guess what? It worked. Were tweets sometimes taken down that they went back and said, oh, we shouldn't have taken that down? Sure. That sucks, but you know what? There's always false positives in this system. I've had stuff taken down. It's just part of how it works, and hopefully, as technology gets better, these systems will get better at detecting this stuff. Um, you know, it's a work in progress. It's nothing. None of this is perfect, but there's a large gap, a rather large gap between an imperfect yet independent system and government censorship.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know. It just feels like it's kind of saddening to see like so many, like, I don't know, so many people have like this sort of uh like it seems like the scales in their like what is important is kind of out of whack these days. Like you see people, siding with, the person that killed Jordan Neely. You see people siding with, worrying about
And I
this
should say
weird.
the reason people are siding with Jordan Neely is because, well, right wingers are siding with him no matter what, obviously, because they liked seeing what happened. They're all for vigilante justice, and they're all for a homeless, mentally ill black person getting what they believe to be their just desserts. Um, that's certainly a major part of it. But another part of it is that there was a mass disinformation campaign from the right wing to spread things that Jordan Neely did not say. No witness said he threatened anybody. The main witness, the guy who posted the video that's spread virally, the only video of the situation, he's come out and said, listen, the most violent thing Jordan Neely did was he threw his jacket on the floor. Yeah, we were nervous, but he didn't actually get violent with anybody particularly. Like, he didn't threaten anybody specifically. And then he also came out and said that Daniel Penny went up behind him and started choking him out. There was no confrontation. The basically the scenario was that Jordan Neely got on the train, had a situation, a moment of weakness where he basically had a breakdown and yelled and screamed and probably made a lot of people on the train feel uncomfortable, but never went further than that. And then Daniel Penny took it upon himself to sneak up behind the guy and choke him to death.
Yeah, it's kind of saddening. You see, I've seen like the sheer amount of people on Twitter who seem not only to be okay with what happened, but seem to be glad that this person murdered Jordan Neely. It's so disheartening. You see, like I'm sure you've seen the tweets of people and or like all the people that responded in that way, but it's just like there seems to be like this disconnect where like like there's like this destiny hole of the internet. You think that these people are kind of like leaning left, but like there's like they have like this like deep hatred for like the actual people that we're supposed to empathize with on the left. Like they have this like deep hatred for like
Oh,
homeless people.
there is without a doubt these leftists who believe that being a leftist means you just have to be a contrarian. You have to be against whatever is the mainstream, whatever's popular, which is the most ludicrous shit I've ever heard in my life. Because what is the point of your political movement if not to move your policies and your beliefs into the mainstream? And then what? You back yourself in a corner to then go against everything you believe because you've actually won those battles? It's the most brain dead shit I've ever heard in my life. And there is not a large portion, but a very loud, small portion. Michael Brooks perfectly called them the dumb left, who actually are guided by that. They believe that if something is the mainstream, if something is being promoted by a company or whatever, it means, oh, we have to be against that now. Like, for example, LGBTQ rights. All of a sudden, they're not so loud about that anymore because the corporations have been shamed, basically, into deciding that, hey, it's actually good for business to say that LGBTQ people have rights too, because guess what? A lot of people who are your customers have LGBTQ family members and want to see them accepted by society just as much as they are. I mean, that's basically what's guided a whole section, small but loud, of the left for especially since the pandemic, where they believe that because there was a public health situation where millions of people were dying, that the government, the popular thing that the government were doing, getting vaccines out there. Oh, all of a sudden we'd be against that shit. Don't use what the government's promoting, vaccinations. Use what they don't want you to use, like hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin. I mean, fucking brain dead thinking. Absolutely brain dead.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's like it's kind of a scary time to be out in the world. Like, I don't know, like uh I don't based off of like the history of New York and the history of uh you know, especially with Eric Adams as the mayor. I don't know, and Kathy Hochul as the governor. It's kind of scary. I don't know if due diligence is going to be done or anything like that. They had the protest to even get him arrested, and it's kind of it's I don't know. It's kind of sad. And then I live in North Carolina, where we're probably like 2 steps away from becoming the next red state to get all of our rights thrown out, because now that they've gerrymandered their way into taking control of everything.
Right.
It's
right. I mean, yeah. Thanks for the call, though, Alan. Let's let some other people on. It was a great call. I'm not doing my usual super long stream tonight, so I want to get as many people on as possible.
We'll see.
Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Mike Moretti from West Hollywood.
Hey, I'm sorry. You said you cut off for a second. You said Mike? Hello? Uh-oh, you cut off, my friend. Call back. I'm gonna take another call. Call back. I'll take you right as you. I'll take you next. I promise. Just maybe we needed to reset the call. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hey, what's up, Matt? Dave from Jamaica.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah, I listened to the debate, and I'm still confused. Just, like, as the previous call-up just before me, excellent call, it did explain.
Oh, wait, hold
There's
on.
lots of
Did Alan ask me something at the end of his call there that I missed? I'm sorry. When he was finishing, I was looking at what call to take next, and I might have missed if he asked me a question. Alan, did I miss something that you asked me at the end? Please let me know in the chat. Go ahead, Dave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so excellent call by Alan. As in, there's lots of free speech is your thing.
One of the great callers here.
If free speech is your thing, then there's quite a bit more obvious free speech violations you could go. My question to you, Bindo.
I don't. Let's not even go there. I think it's fine. I think it's fine to bring up a specific. I'm not even gonna bring that up. I think it's absolutely fine to focus on one thing or another. I don't think it's an either or. But I do question that his obsession seems to be derived specifically from these partisan papers from Elon Musk, and he could pretend let's not say, I don't want to say pretend. He can say he hates Elon Musk all he wants, yet the carefully leaked, not even leaked because they're he's the boss, the carefully released documents that Musk wanted people to see are his basis for everything. Right there, his opinions automatically going to be formed by something that's not the entire picture.
Well,
I mean,
the thing,
and we could pretend what does Musk get out of this? What does Musk want? He's the owner of the company. He's the owner of the company. If you are reporting on a company and your information is coming from the owner of that company, he has a motive.
Mm.
Even if you can't figure out what that motive is, even if we want to pretend we don't know what Musk's motive is, it doesn't matter. He's the owner of the company. You can't
No, well,
you can't report
the
on that as if it's not the information's not biased.
No, but I guess for me the question is, all right, I try to read in between the lines sometimes. If Dog's main goal here is we think the DHS is bad, government infringing speech, blah blah blah. Why is the Twitter files the vehicle that is going to bring consciousness to the masses? Because as you rightly point out, if it's so biased in one direction, you're going to already alienate a good chunk of the people you want to become more in your side, view the world from your free speech lens, right? So I don't understand the thing doesn't make sense on many levels from me, right? That's the part I don't get. Is like, how is the Twitter files this vehicle? And I agree, it's kind of a nothing burger because the revelations that I consider actual revelations on Hunter Biden's cock is kind of stuff we already knew. That
like listen, there's certain details in there, like actually seeing these emails between Twitter employees and seeing exactly who was on, but it's basically information we already knew, but just a more detailed presentation of it because we actually see the leaked messages.
I'm trying to imagine a world where we have a less biased Twitter files, right?
Well, we would have got unfettered access to all of these documents. Twitter should, obviously, and they didn't even do this for Taibbi to show you how much they fucking cared. Mm-hmm. There should have been, if not Twitter, the journalists reporting on this information, which Taibbi didn't even fucking do. An absolute shame on any sort of journalistic effort. Didn't even fucking censor people's private email addresses. Straight up leaking people's contact information. Just disgusting, quite frankly. And did this multiple times. It wasn't like, oh, he was going through all these files and he missed one. This happened multiple times throughout, and he had to constantly go back after multiple people would complain. After it being up for hours, he would have to go back and delete it.
So that's the thing I can't get, all right? If all right, I don't want to cast aspersions, so I'm not saying this about Doug, but as you said,
I want to make it clear. I don't think Doug is those the people I was just talking about before when we were talking about the Neely situation. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen his take on that, so I can't say. I'm just saying though, there's a big overlap between the Twitter files people who I'm talking about, the main Twitter files people, not the rare case of a Doug Lain who's someone who says he's on the left, and I believe him, who cares about this. Those are very few and far between, quite frankly. But there is a bizarre overlap, let's put it that way, in a way that you didn't see with the NSA leaks. You didn't see with the Pentagon Papers. You didn't see with any of these previous leaks. Now, you tell me what the difference is here, and we went through it. We went through it.
The thing as I said before, the thing I can't get is the obsession with the Twitter files. Like, it makes
because they respect Matt Taibbi. I think that's a lot to do with it. I mean, Elon Musk perfectly picked Taibbi because Taibbi is the perfect guy to reach that specific subsection of those leftists that I mentioned, those contrarians, and he was already going into that whole I'm a reformed liberal phase. He was already doing that for the right. So you hit that perfect spot for Musk to feign impartiality. Because, I didn't give it to a right-winger. I gave it to Matt Taibbi. Please. But Matt Taibbi was well gone by that point.
Right. No, but that's the thing that kind of annoys me about the whole conversation is that if your goal is to push free speech ideals, this is like the worst way to do it. You're only, as you said, you're only going to reach that certain niche right? Right wingers don't care about free speech, and you're just annoying all the lefties who kind of are not really moved by the Twitter files person. So I don't, I to say, you know, people want to say, well, they're just looking at it materially. If I'm honest, I'm looking at it materially. If my goal materially is to push free speech and to weaken DHS's ability to curb it, I would use some other vehicle than the fucking Twitter files. So that's kind of my major take on it, and that's kind of what annoys me because I won't lie. Listening to the debate gave me sovereign citizen vibes at like we're playing semantics and word games with what and that type of stuff does not work on the normies. I'm a normie and it annoys me. So I don't. If you want to push free speech values, there are far better avenues to go with it. But anyway, I don't want to keep you up late, Matt. So I promise to keep it short. So thanks for having me.
No, great conversation as always, Dave. I mean, yeah, it was nice talking with you.
Thanks.
All right, let me get back to that caller, Mike, who I already picked up someone else's call. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from? I'll call you next, Mike. Sorry, this number just popped up as I was pressing the call button. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey,
No,
Matt,
it's not your fault.
okay.
It's not. It's my. I hit the wrong thing.
No, it's fine. It's Anne from the UK. So.
Hey, Anne, what would you like to talk about? I'm assuming the debate tonight.
Actually, no. I've got your remotes.
Oh, cool. Could we? Would you be able to save that for Tuesday? Because this is a sort of an off night stream, and I don't want people to miss it. I want the most people to see this.
I've also got an Olay emote, which would be less relevant.
Oh, that'd be really cool. Can you? Why don't you send them to me now? But let's also do this on Tuesday.
Okay. Right. No, I have to. Bear with me a second. My computer's deciding to lag.
You could still send me them in the chat. You could still send me them in the chat while I take another call. If that's cool. Does that work?
Yeah.
Oh,
sure.
did you want to say something? I'm sorry. I thought you just wanted to give me.
One of the things was something extra I made just as a part of making other stuff. But right, there you go. That should be all of the stuff. Hopefully you enjoy.
Oh, I'll have to.
Many thanks for taking the call.
Let's see. Oh, wait. I'm trying to see the chat stuff. 1 second. Oh my God, these are awesome. Hold on. Oh my God. All right, these gotta go out now. Holy shit, these are cool. Oh, I love this WWE logo. Oh my God, hold on. I gotta get people to see this. We also got to do this same call on Tuesday because not enough people are watching to see your work. Everyone should see this. But I will give everyone a look right now, though. Oh my God, these are sweet. I'm gonna pull them all up. 1 second.
But yeah, to be fair, I made the MB like WWE logo because it needed to go on the belt anyway. But I was informed that the old versions of the belt didn't have a logo on it by a friend who's into wrestling.
No, it's I think you could have you have free artistic what is it called again when you're able to
license, I guess.
Yes.
I think it's artistic license.
Artistic license, yes. These are awesome. I really like the one with me holding it above my head with both hands. That one's really cool.
That was my original idea. The reason for the other one was because every image I looked up of the belt, someone was holding it like that. And I was like, is that like a default wrestling pose thing? So I did it as an extra one just in case.
The Olay one is really cool. We got to get that on. I got to figure out how to fucking upload these to Twitch. Old man Binder, yep. Does YouTube do custom emotes? I don't even know. I have to look it up.
I think it does, but I wouldn't have any clue how you'd do them or if you'd need to pay to add them.
Oh, you could do
if you're
I gotta do channel memberships. Ooh, a new way to make money. Ooh, I should do that.
I
Uh,
really liked the Ole one, but I've no idea whether she'll like the Ole one.
these are really cool. These are really nice. I like these a lot. Thank you so much. Um, these are fantastic. I really like these. These are my favorite. The title, the one with me holding the title over my head is really good. Honestly, you make me look way cooler than I actually look.
No, it's fine. I wasn't really sure what to put on the belt, so I ended up going with something that was slightly less cheesy than I had originally planned to put on.
No, I think just putting that MB thing on there and just going straight up world heavyweight news wrestling champion. I didn't even notice that. I like that. That's cool. A little something, but not too, you didn't go out there and be cringe or corny. You just threw a little bit of a mention in there. I like that. That's perfect. This is really cool. I thank you so much. Can you, do you want me to drop a link to your work or anything so I could give people?
I don't really have anywhere that I post much particularly.
Okay. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
If you happen to want to invite me to your Discord.
Oh, you're not on there? Are you a patron?
I don't think I am. I'm not a patron.
Okay, I'll get you. You'll get this. No, that's fine. This is more than enough payment. I'm gonna get you a message. Message me on Patreon, and I will send you.
Can I?
I think you can. I think you can. If not, DM me on Twitter. I'll get you a link.
I mean, you can send me a link via Skype.
Oh, right, Skype. Right. I forgot about that.
Literally
I forgot.
Skype.
Yeah, right. I'm sorry. Listen, I don't usually. I'm tired. It's Friday. I'll get you that link. I promise.
It's late in the night. It's like 4 a.m. for me. It's probably earlier for you.
Yeah. Oh, you're really trying to. All right. You know what? I take it back. You don't get that Discord link. I will get you that link. I promise. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your 4 a.m. British time over there on Turf Island. You wise ass.
Oh, one very quick comment though on politics.
Go ahead.
Our local elections I mentioned, the Tories lost over 1,000 seats and like 40 councils. I am very, very happy about that.
Oh.
Anyway, I just wanted to mention that.
Oh, all right. Awesome. That's great. Have a great, that's really good.
Have a nice night.
Take care. Have a great night. All right, hold on, everyone. There's a few people trying to call in. I want to get Mike first. Mike, the guy who called in before, and we had a disconnection, or disconnect. I want to make sure I get him on. Hey, Mike, do you hear me?
You got me on, Matt. How you doing? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. What would you like to talk about?
Easy for you to say. I think Dave on Jamaica kind of hit on what I was going to say, but it's like your conversation with Doug, and forgive me, I just caught the back half of it, but your debate, to have a conversation about censorship and not talk about the monopolization of platforms, it just seems almost ridiculous.
Right, but he wants to focus on the government, and I kept it there because. And I agree with you full-heartedly. But my issue was that the debate sprung out of, we never even got to this. Doug and I first started going at it recently when I published a report about the death of the Twitter files. You might have seen the article. It was on Mashable. It was a report about how everyone seemed to have missed, because I don't miss it, because Twitter is my beat. I think... Again, I don't like tooting my own horn, but I don't think there's more than a handful of people that cover Twitter the way I do. I was the only person who seemed to have realized from that long Twitter space Elon Musk did one of those nights last month that he said we should just move on from the Twitter files. The guy who said this is like the biggest information source, the biggest leak in, it should be First Amendment violations, the world will change. All of a sudden, it's not that big of a deal anymore. Let's move on. And no one seemed to caught it. So I wrote a report. I wrote a piece about it. Elon Musk, the Twitter files are dead. And Doug had a real problem that I said that. And he seemed to disagree with me, even though the source of the Twitter file said it was over. Mike, I lost you again. What's going on? You all right?
I'm all right. I guess I got a boomer foam issues, I think. I'm sorry.
So I don't know if you caught that, but basically, he had a problem with me saying the Twitter files were dead when I was quoting Elon Musk saying the Twitter files, we need to move on. Since Elon Musk said that, and I did say in my piece too that Matt Taibbi has material he has yet to publish. I don't know how much of it he has. I'm going to assume the stuff's not that good of what he has. And when I mean good, I mean juicy even for his audience, because he's already, shot his load. Whatever they're still holding on to, they would have got out already if they felt like it was going to be a big hit. And from the day I said that, the Twitter files from the day I published that piece, the Twitter files are dead because Elon Musk said that very thing. And
right.
Today, I believe there has been, like I said, Matt Taibbi does have some old stuff that Musk gave him that hasn't been published yet. There's been a single Twitter file published from someone who Taibbi gave the information to, because Taibbi's not doing it on Twitter anymore, he said. And you know what the big fucking Twitter file revelation was? Dr. Fauci said he doesn't have a Twitter account, so there's nothing that Twitter could have on him based on like private DMs or something. He claims he never used Twitter. He never had a Twitter account. And the big fucking Twitter files reveal was that Dr. Fauci lied when he said that, because he actually did a WHO, a World Health Organization, Twitter account takeover one day where he answered questions to people who tweeted at the WHO account. Are you fucking kidding me? There are celebrities, there are politicians, there are all sorts of people who don't have Twitter accounts, who do these like, it's a movie, it's a whatever, I'm going to do a question and answer. It's not their fucking account. They're not using it. There's someone sitting there telling them something, and they tell them something back, and they fucking get it typed out for them. That was the big fucking reveal. That Dr. Fauci lied about not having a Twitter account because he did a WHO question and answer Twitter account takeover one day. It's fucking ridiculous. Anyone who's promoting this shit should be ashamed of themselves. Ashamed of themselves.
Well, and they're missing the forest for the trees. I mean, it's like, who is paying Matt Taibbi? Who's paying Glenn Greenwald? Who took over CNN? You got all this right.
You know what?
Who's paying
I don't think we even have to get conspiratorial here and question if they're getting paid. I don't think Musk paid Taibbi or any of these people. The payment was enough.
He promoted his platform,
exactly.
right?
That's what I was going to say. Yes. There was no exchange of money because all Taibbi had to do was agree to be Musk's boy, and then Musk would promote it, and that would send all of Musk's fanboys and right-wing influencers to promote the shit out of it, and they would all subscribe to Taibbi's Substack, and now Taibbi's making millions of dollars a month from Substack because Musk chose him to be the anointed one. It's very simple.
Taibbi got paid. And he got paid because of Elon Musk's doings.
Right.
If it wasn't directly paid quid pro quo, it was still the same effect, right?
Right. And Glenn Greenwald does actually, someone points out, Glenn Greenwald does have a deal with Rumble. That is what that is.
Look, and we don't know where all this right-wing money is coming, it's backing all these podcasters, so a guy like Crowder can get millions of dollars. I mean, there's big money behind this. And to say that it's not out there to try to manipulate and censor speech, come on. It's by a horse by a different color, man. That's what they're doing.
The funny thing is, there are actual legitimate critiques of the people that they don't like. Like, I'm not a fan of Dr. Fauci. I think he fucked up during the pandemic. And the funny thing is, one of my biggest criticisms of him, and I think this should be fucking huge, but the right wing doesn't pick up on it because they're against him believing they're against this one. It was the funny thing was that early on, they told people that masks don't work. And then they came out later and started telling people to wear masks. And when asked why they flip-flopped, Dr. Fauci straight up said, well, at the time, masks were a rare item to be found in the early days of the pandemic. So we needed to make sure there were enough for first responders. So we didn't want people going out and hoarding and buying up all the masks. They could have just fucking said that. But instead, they fucking said they didn't work.
Yeah,
and they caused a huge fucking
I
problem. And that is an actual legitimate criticism that you could level at these people. They fucked up big time doing that.
Fair enough.
Yet the right would never touch that because it goes against what they believe. They actually probably, to them, it's the opposite was the issue. They agreed with what Fauci did in the beginning and are sickened by the fact that he told people to actually go out and buy masks because they actually do work.
But Matt, there's two things at play with that. One is then people would ask, why don't we have the mask? And it would kick back to the Trump administration's failures to get that stuff together when they were warned and told they needed to do that. And they were making money on the side on these masks. And so it would have reflected bad on their boy, Donnie. And the other reason is because they can't acknowledge that a pandemic is something that all the people need to come together to fight. We all had to come together to defeat the pandemic.
Listen,
and that's the last thing they want.
I got no issue with there being a mass research put into how to disseminate factual, true information and limit the effects of disinformation when we're talking about a global fucking health crisis. It's very simple. It's very simple. It's very simple. And what they were asking were that people not disseminate fake, made-up bullshit. Or not even ask. They were doing research on how it was spreading so they could disseminate the true stuff. And then they were giving information to these platforms to basically suggest, hey, these are the disinformation that we're seeing. Look at it, cross-check with your policies, see what you think. And that was the virality project.
I don't want to be a Fauci defender, but I understand why he did what he did. He wanted to make sure that nurses and doctors.
He fucked up though, because what he ended up doing is he ended up being a disseminator of disinformation himself.
In the long run, it cost him. He felt like he was doing it for a short-term emergency.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, I know what you're saying, and I get where he was coming from. But he ended up doing exactly what they ended up having to fight later on. He fucked up big time there.
No matter what he did. They really were. They didn't want to have there be a united group social effort to fight a huge problem, because that goes against everything these conservative, libertarian jerk-offs want. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I understand what you're saying. And, I don't agree on the Fauci aspect because I do think that he ended up doing more harm in that instance than good. I'm not saying for everything he did. I'm talking about that mask issue. But yeah.
Agreed.
Great call, Mike.
Long run, it was a bad call. Absolutely. I just understand why he did it.
Right. Sure. All right. Have a great night.
Matt, have a great weekend. And hey, if you know where Emma's going to do her bachelor party out here, let me know. I'll go see if I can dig her up.
Oh. Take care.
Have a good one.
Peace. I'll take one or two more calls. All the calls are coming in. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
G'day, Matt. It's John from Australia. How you doing?
John from Australia. Long time no talk.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
Because I haven't done a scam economy episode in a little bit. That's probably why I haven't heard from you.
That's it, exactly. No, I happened to catch this by chance because you didn't. I don't think you this one.
No, I
This
didn't, because
debate
I
that you were
wasn't.
having.
I,
It just
I actually,
popped up.
I gotta say, I actually
I
forgot
was
about.
lucky enough to be on
I-
YouTube at the
I
time
actually-
and saw it had just started, so I figured I'd tune in.
I actually forgot about it. Doug reached out to me early last week, and we decided on a date last Wednesday, and I just fucking forgot about it. Honestly, not because I usually don't plan that far out. To be honest, nothing against Doug. And today I was just like, oh shit. Doug asked me to send a few articles his way because he was going to send me a few articles too. So we sort of had, a baseline of what we're each looking at. So I got that stuff to him early this morning. And he had no problem with that. And we did it. So I'm happy it worked out. But I'm glad you caught it too. I even forgot to fucking tweet about it because we used a new. I've never used the Restream Studio before. That was my first, and it worked really good actually. I might use that for more sort of guest type stuff, not the usual live stream stuff, but like more sort of leftist mafia type stuff. When you have multiple people on at once, those type of things are really helpful to use over what I use for the regular show. But enough of the behind the scenes stuff. What do you want to talk about, John?
Oh, well, I want to talk about the debate. I thought it was fascinating, but like, where do you even begin to start with that? um, it's disheartening to see folks like Doug end up sort of caught up in this furor about the Twitter files and that sort of thing. It really is kind of a storm in a teacup sort of thing, right? Like as you and many others have pointed out, like the sort of the allegations are kind of like kept very sort of amorphous and non-specific, and there's a lot of inference that happens. It's like, oh look, the Biden campaign, look what they did about these tweets, and it's like, I think probably one of the more disappointing moments of it was when you pointed out, do you know what those tweets were? They were, like they were nude images of Hunter
Right,
Biden.
and I want to.
Like,
I should have made it. I think I thought it came across, but maybe it didn't. I should have actually pointed it out during the discussion. But the reaction from Doug, and I'm not criticizing him not knowing. I mean, he should have probably looked up, if these things matter that much, he should probably looked up what was actually being, taken down. But without criticizing Doug, I think it was very illuminating and proof that Matt Taibbi did a disservice to his audience. Doug stepped in as the Matt Taibbi reader and showed in live, in real time, I should say, the result of Matt Taibbi not explaining what was taken down. He had no clue. And that is Twitter Files #1. It's the first revelation. Even before Matt Taibbi starts talking about the New York Post article being taken down in that Twitter Files 1 thread, the very first actual Twitter Files documents are about the Hunter Biden nude photos. And that's how this whole thing kicks off. And Matt Taibbi did not tell his audience what was taken down. So they automatically assume nefarious intent by all parties involved. The Biden campaign, Twitter, if they believed the government agency was involved in helping flag those tweets, instead of just pointing out that, hey, in this instance, this is actually illegal material, and it's against Twitter's policies. Also, it's illegal. It's non-consensual nude photos of an individual. You cannot post those. And that's the Twitter Files kickoff. Everything comes from that. Listen, Glenn Greenwald, when he received the Edward Snowden document, the NSA documents from Edward Snowden, the fucking first revelation was the biggest fucking reveal. The NSA's broad monitoring of domestic communications went far beyond what anyone ever knew. Because Glenn Greenwald, again, we could criticize him for many things nowadays, but with the Edward Snowden documents, he went forward with the most important, the most revealing, and the thing that would set the standard for what you're going to get out of these NSA documents. And that's why they were so important. That's why he will go down in history with those NSA documents as being a great reporter for that specific moment. And he also provided those documents to many other outlets to make sure that there was a broad research being done by many different people from many different outlets, all coming together to work on this very important story. That's not what happened here. That's not what happened here. In any sense of the word, like Matt Taibbi could have just followed the Glenn Greenwald method of reporting on documents, and he failed the test in every single which way. So if you think if someone's listening right now and thinks I'm just I'm a lib Biden loving hater, no, Glenn Greenwald did it right with the NSA leaks from Snowden. It was great reporting. Taibbi did everything you're not supposed to do and continued to do it throughout the entirety of the charade.
Exactly, you're right. I think the phrase is referring to what sort of Toby did with the Twitter files. The phrase I would be inclined to use is lipstick on a pig, right? Like it, you would be more inclined to say nothing burger, perhaps, right? As in, like it. There is no substance here, but it purports to be something more than it is. And one thing I want to sort of really point out here is that like that one thing on its own, I don't think should be like an indictment. That one thing, as in referring to your debate with Doug, should not be an indictment on Doug at all.
No,
right?
I think. I think Doug is a. I don't want to use the word victim, but he is the audience of Matt Taibbi's work that shows people what happens when a supposed journalist does everything wrong. They mislead their audience, and they put their audience in that spot to talk about something that did not happen, or misrepresent something that did not that they think happened.
Exactly right. So I think what I think Matt Taibbi was sort of doing with those sort of releases was sort of phrasing them and positioning them in such a way as to make them fit an existing pattern, right? Making them sort of more align with something like the Snowden releases, right? Making them align more with something of how we sort of look back at operations like, COINTELPRO, right? Like sort of priming the pump, so to speak, and getting people who sort of have seen those events occur throughout history, who perhaps have a right, and rightfully so, have a distrust of sort of the US surveillance state. Formatting these documents and these releases in such a way as they adhere to that pattern, and then sort of kind of letting the audience kind of infer and conflate and fill in the gaps. And I think that's perhaps my reading anyway is that's perhaps what maybe Doug has done here. Sort of, I saw a lot of, when he was speaking, like sort of saying, yeah, and the DHS is telling Twitter this and doing this stuff. It's like, well, hang on, no. What the Twitter files showed is that that there is a link between perhaps the DHS and the EIP, right? The EIP is Stanford and University of Washington, so like, okay, but the DHS maybe they gave them $4 million or something like that was his claim.
Yeah, I don't know about the numbers, but I don't think the numbers really matter.
Exactly,
honestly.
And I'm not even sure. But like, then that group looked at what was the number, 5 million tweets,
and they chose like 4,000 of them. Right? They whittled it down tremendously. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Specifically regarding like election misinformation on Twitter, right? Only on Twitter. Right?
Right.
Were they looking at Facebook at all?
I mean, I'm assuming I don't know about if they were, But for the specific project we're talking about, it was just Twitter. There was 4,000 Twitter posts.
Right. It's again fascinating. But if I were Matt Taibbi, I would be going, well, did they look at Facebook? Did they look at other social media sites? But
They did,
it's
because
Twitter files,
in a lot of these emails that Taibbi released, you see that TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. There's emails in the thread. They're like it wasn't even like the government agencies were specifically like, Twitter, you're our secret. No, these were broad. Hey, social media companies, this is the research we did. These are our findings. Here you go. That's what was going on here.
Exactly right. Yes. So they looked at in the case of Twitter, the EIP had 5 million tweets, and then they sent 4,000 to Twitter and said, "Hey, we think these violate your terms of service, your content."
Right.
But if you sort of erase the EIP from this, right? If you go, well, the EIP is just if I imagine the EIP as a proxy for DHS, then I can just say the DHS told Twitter this, and then it's a direct link to government. It's the DHS is actually imposing rules upon Twitter. And if I sort of downplay the whole, well, these tweets, we think they don't adhere to your terms of service. If I say instead, take these 4,000 tweets down, and if I ignore the fact that maybe Twitter actually only really acted on a certain portion of them, then I can start to see, if you squint, if you kind of blur the bit, you can start to see how this becomes more like the US government, restricting speech.
Right. You got to really make that jump, right?
And that's the key, Ray. That's the key there. Something something interesting I noted that he said during the debate.
To me, the thing I can't get over is that how do you have a good faith? He said I was dealing in bad faith or whatever. But how do you deal in a good faith discussion with someone who thinks these are First Amendment violations? I don't like
exactly right.
If you can't come to an agreement on what is the First Amendment and what is actually the bounds of that, then this discussion, no matter where we go with it, is going to be moot, because we're never going to come to an agreement, because you are living in a reality that does not exist. It's that simple.
And this is partly why I think that Doug's been sold a bill of goods. Something that he said during the debate that I think maybe you didn't catch, or maybe it's a number that pops up somewhere else and I've misinterpreted it, was he seemed to suggest that the EIP sent Twitter 480,000.
No.
Like, it's worth going back through the VOD and having a look. I might do it myself, but I think he said they sent 480,000 tweets.
No, they did not.
And it's like, no, you're kind of you're overblowing it.
This is the same thing that happened with Taibbi on Mehdi Hassan's show.
Exactly. Like the facts the facts at hand say they sent 4,000,
right,
not 480,000.
Right.
And you can imagine, if you imagine this is an orchestrated operation by the DHS and all these sort of things. You can imagine we're dealing with scales of 480,000. We're dealing with millions, all right? But 4,000 doesn't comport with that. It doesn't comport with that notion of the US government is suppressing free speech and sending marching orders to Twitter. 4,000 doesn't match that at all. That's small fry numbers over a period, multiple years, right? Is that?
It was I don't know how many years they looked over the tweets, but the funding was over 5 years.
Just it's very, very strange. One last thing, and then I'll let you go. Is that something else that Doug said that struck me was that he was speaking sort of as a leftist, that that we need to fight for free speech on these platforms, right? That it's vital to leftist organizing. And I would say, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't think it's vital at all. I think leftist organizing on platforms like Twitter, as in platforms that are either publicly or privately owned, either way, no good, that are ultimately like beholden to either shareholders or investors that are in this case beholden to certain sort of ideologies, right? It like in what world do we imagine the left organizing on a platform that is operated by a union buster? Like, how does that make any sense at all? Like, if we want to talk about leftist organizing online, then I think there's loads of different, solutions for that. Loads of different tactics, right? You've got end-to-end, encrypted messaging services. You've got.
Oh yeah, you shouldn't be right. Yeah, if you're
exactly.
if you're doing
there's
private,
no server.
if you're doing something sort of, if you think you're doing a private get together on your posts, your public posts on Twitter, or even your DMs on Twitter, you're doing the wrong thing. This is basic sort of
Oh God.
cybersecurity.
DMs, that was the other thing.
Right.
He was sort of like trying to infer or suggest that the EIP had access to Twitter DMs. It's like, no. But again, that comports with a sort of fictionalized imagining of these documents where the DA is sort of pulling the strings. Yeah, absolutely.
Right,
You can imagine the DHS having access to the DMs.
Right. The DHS had no, and I mean, from what we have, even shown in the Twitter files, the DHS did not have any access to Twitter's backend. Did not have any access to your tweets, your raw data, your contact information. If they did, they would not need to ask Twitter to take down tweets. They had to email. They had to email Twitter. There was a system also set up that would basically get, like, you would submit the tweets through like a form, and it would go to the appropriate department at Twitter that was specifically for various partners and government agencies. All sorts of social media platforms do this. Even that was meticulously went over, and not all of the tweets were taken down. Again, as even Doug admitted, the vast majority were not removed. The vast majority were left up. And also, now that I look at the material, I assume the 35% number he brought up was correct. I should double check that. But I do know that that's not 35%. If that number is correct, whatever that number is, let's just go with 35% being correct. It wasn't 35% takedowns. It was 35%, which included takedowns, labels, and restricted reach. So 35% of that material wasn't even taken down either. It was less.
Yeah, exactly, right. I think that the thing I'll leave you with is that, like, and this is where it gets sort of frustrating to talk to people about this sort of stuff, and particularly the Twitter files, and particularly talking with other leftists who have bought into the Twitter files. It's that, like, I'm absolutely intensely critical of government involvement in restriction of speech. But if you're talking about a company like Twitter who, like, absolutely would be doing, like, and again, I'm talking about this pattern matching thing and sort of laying, trying to fit this to a framework of, like, the PRISM sort of documents and all that sort of stuff, right? Where, yes, it's kind of a given that the surveillance state is trying to monitor communications, suppress communications. Yes, that's kind of a given. But the evidence that you've put in front of us, that is not what it shows.
Right.
And by us saying, hey, this is bullshit, this is nothing, they take that to mean, oh, so you're fine with the DHS suppressing tweets. No, of course not. But the evidence you've provided and shown us, that's not what it actually shows. Bring me some actual evidence. Bring it on. Like, absolutely. Like, show us this actually happening. And you know what? You don't even need to show it to me happening. I agree with you that it's probably happening. It's probably happening. Your Twitter DMs, not private. I suspect that the US government absolutely has a tap on those, right? Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't Twitter, like, give them that information?
Actually, Twitter's been pretty good on that aspect of fighting back against governments requesting data. Like, they have actually sued to prevent having to hand over personal information of certain users when governments have requested, even the U.S. government. Twitter no longer is doing that because Elon Musk is now in charge and he doesn't want to spend the money going to court. He'd rather just screw over the users.
Right.
Yeah, but Twitter actually had a very good track record of that comparatively to the other social media platforms. This is just factual information you could look up. They sued the Indian government to prevent having to abide by their block requests of certain users, which Musk just abided to. He not even fighting it. He came into power, owns Twitter, and he just said, "Okay, Modi, tell me who to take down, and I will do it." And he's done that. And he's taken even a step further. He doesn't just block those users from being able to be seen in India. He has taken down entire accounts globally at the behest of the Modi regime in India. So
exactly,
Musk
right?
is
And
the
we
worst
have, we have
actor.
documented evidence of that happening.
Yes,
right.
Musk is the worst actor in all this.
What I'm saying is that, like, I'm willing to grant you the fact, you as in like a Twitter files sort of, adherent.
Hold on, really quick.
Let
Let me just say, I see there's someone else in the chat I would like to call in. Wayne, call into the show. Doomed live on Skype. Please call in. I would love to have a discussion with you. I'll never understand the people who are such stringent. They fight for their rights to free speech, but then all they do is talk shit in the live chat and are just too afraid to call in. It just baffles me. I love talking.
Yeah, no,
to
exactly.
Yeah.
Exercise it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Exercise
go
it.
ahead.
Back it up.
Yep.
I'll leave it at this. Like, what I'm saying is that I am willing to grant those people that this stuff is happening, but the evidence that they've brought forward doesn't show it. They need to cop to that. They need to cop to that.
Honestly, it's probably happening to an extent, but I actually think people probably think more is happening than actually is. Honestly.
That's probably fair, right?
Right.
Like I said, this pattern matching thing, we fit it to a framework of what we've seen with the scale of things like the mass surveillance.
Because if the DHS had all this, why would they even need to go through like NGOs to do research on this stuff? They have the information.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. The solution to this, right? If you come to me and say the DHS is suppressing free speech on Twitter, the solution to this, in my mind, is don't use Twitter. Don't use an organization that's run by a union buster who is absolutely willing to behind the scenes absolutely give this information over and again, as you've said, has like willingly suppressed speech at the behest of is it Narendra Modi?
Yeah.
Is that the
yes Modi?
Yes. Okay. Got the name right. Yeah.
Twitter before Musk actually was going to court so they did not have to listen to Modi's takedown requests. Musk takes over, and not only does he do what he would have to do if Twitter lost that court case, what he would have had to have done is block those users from being visible in India. But he is taking it a step further and doing something he's not even required to legally do in India. He is blocking those users, like he's taken down accounts at the behest of the Indian government, meaning that that their posts can't even be seen in like the United States or Canada or the UK. They are off Twitter now because Modi's government requested it.
Exactly. The solution here is like, fine, like use Twitter for whatever, but like don't try to fight back against trying to fight back against the bulk of the United States security and surveillance apparatus so that you can post disinformation on Twitter is a losing battle, right? And it's also just kind of pointless, right? Because all you've just done is create this soup of this communication that like makes it kind of harder for leftists to organize, right? Like, cool, we've got this platform where disinformation is legally protected speech. How hard do you think it's going to be for leftists to organize in that, right? Like prior, and even probably like sort of, I don't know, I don't want to sound like a conspiracist, but I suspect this is probably still going on to a certain degree today, right? Like US security agencies infiltrating leftist bases with the express intent of slowing things down and confusing the dialogue and like spreading disinformation in leftist spaces, going back into like the 70s and stuff, right? Like, how is the solution to leftist organizing creating an online space where we can all do that anonymously? No, God, no. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. Wayne, don't be a coward. Call in. Catch you later, Binder.
Take care, John. Always a pleasure. So I'm going to take. I would love for one of those people who disagree with me to call in. I don't know why they don't. Everyone knows I love discussion. I'm very cordial, very nice. I'm the guy who went on Tim Pool's show. I'm the one who went on Lauren Chen's stream. I talk with anyone. Doug, we had a nice little chat afterwards where he actually was talking about he's sorry he has to go. We should do some more, and I would love to talk with him again. I talk with anyone. But for some reason, people who talk really no one like it's really easy. I'm gonna take this call, but hold on one second. Don't talk yet. I'm gonna put you on mute for a second. Hold on, I'm just put you on mute for 1 second just so I can finish my thought. But you'll be ready when I'm done. You know, I get people don't want to call in. Okay, that's fine. But I mean, it's really easy to just blast off your thoughts in the live chat when I can't respond because I'm doing a live stream. If you actually want to interact with me, that's why I do the phone calls. I can't sit down and have a back and forth with you via a live chat while I'm doing a stream. So, I mean, I don't know what to say to you. I'm giving you the opportunity to actually interact with me. That's the way to do it. I rarely interact on Twitter because it's not made for it, just like the live stream thing. I can't interact with people on Twitter. You guys see how many replies and retweets, and I can barely even keep up with my notifications. Literally every 5 seconds, the little 20 plus thing shows up, and it's 20 new notifications. I receive too much shit now. So that's why I specifically go out of my way to take calls and take as many calls as possible. Because I like interacting with people, and this is the only way I can do it in a meaningful way. So if you want a meaningful conversation with me, you have to call in. If you just want to shit talk because you feel like you can't actually go toe-to-toe and back and forth, then I guess just stay in the live chat and in the replies on Twitter. That's why I respect people like Doug. I may not like Tim Pool, I may not like Lauren Chen or those other right-wingers I've debated with, but I respect the fact that they engage in that way because that's the only meaningful way to do it. There is this whole back and forth in live chats and Twitter is just posturing BS, to be quite frank. Meaningful conversation happens this way. It's just that simple. All right. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Forrest from California. So I just wanted to, some of the points that Doug in the debate was sticking to were just kind of dumb. Like the one about he kept going on about how you if there's this big difference between disinformation and fraud, but that's such a thin hair to split because there is actually not that much difference.
Fraud is disinformation, right.
Yeah.
I guess not all disinformation is fraudulent. I mean, I guess you can argue that, but all fraud is disinformation because you're selling people a lie to defraud them.
Mm-hmm. And the only way to know the difference, the only legal distinction between disinformation and fraud is basically a mixture of financial incentives and outcomes.
Right.
Or I should have said whether you're lying.
Right.
So, which normal people don't have the ability to determine that. I mean, if it's some dude in a Facebook comment section, then sure, it's disinformation, whatever. But if it's a streamer who's discussing a topic for the purpose of increasing his viewer count, how do you distinguish between fraud and disinformation? Because he has a financial incentive to say what he's saying because he thinks it's going to get him an audience. So, like, it's just impossible to make that distinction in a lot of cases unless you're the government who has access to metrics and the ability to investigate in ways that normal citizens can't. I'm not saying I want the government to go investigate every speech. I'm just saying that arguing that like arguing that disinformation should have some special category of like protection from social media company censorship, it doesn't make sense because they have the ability to regulate their platform, and his argument about fraud is just kind of dumb. I don't know. I kind of lost my train of thought in the middle of that.
No,
but,
I mean, the whole point of the EIP was specifically, it's right in the name. It was about election disinformation, which by definition means you're trying to disenfranchise voters. That's the whole point. I mean, that's what I don't know what he thinks they were pointing out. It was all attempts to disenfranchise voters. False information about what day it was to vote, false information about where to vote, false information how to vote, false information who can vote. That was the whole idea behind it. That's why they went through all that data and then whittled it down to 4,000 tweets, because those were the ones that actually dealt with the issues at hand. I mean, I tend to think that, yeah, you should be able to spout off anything. And I do think when it comes to actual jokes and commentary, they need to make cutouts for those as well. That's probably harder to see, which is why there were some in the data. I don't know if it was with the EIP's data, but there in one of those Twitter files, there was a big deal about how one or two of the tweets that were sent to Twitter were jokes. Well, yeah, that's why they were sent to Twitter. And then Twitter goes through them and picks out which ones actually did violate their policies, and they did not remove the joke tweets because they did not violate their policies. I mean, I do think that people should not be allowed to disenfranchise voters. I do think you should not be allowed to do that. Maybe I'm a crazy censorship hungry, FBI loving, DHS hugging, Biden obsessed, crazy libtard. But I do think that people should not be strayed wrong so they don't get to vote.
And also a lot of the medical misinformation that gets spread, like maybe in the beginning, at the very beginning of the pandemic, when people were talking about ivermectin, like, oh, this worked for me or whatever, like, I get it, maybe that's not like some kind of criminal fraud. But in 2023, when we've had all of this scientific data, all of these studies, and all of the contrary evidence is just like anecdotal, like, I took it while I had COVID and I didn't die. Like, maybe there should be some kind of criminal liability there because ivermectin has terrible side effects and there's no conclusive evidence
right.
that
if you are telling people to take ivermectin and someone dies from that, and there is proof that those individuals took it directly because of you, I do think there should be liability. Yes, absolutely. I do think they need to prove that connection. Like, someone could tweet that out and it's still fucking ridiculous and idiotic and they're wrong and stupid for doing it. But you do need to show that direct connection. And obviously that'd probably be, it's possible, but it's very hard to do. But I agree there should be a very high standard for that, because I don't want to throw people. I believe in I remember very early on, I wanted to be a lawyer very early on. Because I am very interested in, defending people. And I decided not to because I hate school. But I took a criminal justice class early on I took numerous criminal justice classes as soon as I could, and two of them were in high school. And my first criminal justice teacher, I'll never forget this, that she said this, and I agree with it wholeheartedly. It's better for 10 guilty people to walk free than for one innocent person to be jailed. And I absolutely agree with that. There should be a very high standard for I mean, beyond a reasonable doubt, for imprisoning someone. And someone spending even a minute behind bars, if they're wrongfully convicted, is an absolute travesty of the entire system. With that said, I agree that there should be liability if that high bar can be proven and met for people who cause harm in that way. Absolutely.
And before I go, do you mind if I got a couple tattoo. I just wanted to show it off.
Oh,
that's okay.
oh, you're on the stream. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, no, I usually don't video chat because I'm a security guard, and when I'm sitting in my chair, I'm surrounded by a 360-degree view of confidential stuff that I can't really put out there. But I walked over into the kitchen so that I can do this.
All right, cool. I'm going to put you up on the screen now. Share your video.
Oops.
Don't worry, no one saw your
Sorry.
face. No one saw. Oh, there we go. Here we go. All right, cool. Let's see this. Oh wait, I can't. It's
My
upside
wife
down.
calls me. Oh. My wife calls me. Here, let me try to. Kind of. My wife calls me Bunny, and I call her Kitty. So it's a bunny and a kitty.
Oh, that's very cool. And that date is, I'm guessing, when your anniversary?
Yeah, wedding anniversary.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Very awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling in. Always a pleasure when you call in, Forrest. Have a great night.
Yeah, you too.
Bye. Yeah, I know what I just mentioned is like the main founding principle of our justice system, but I like to explain it as like, as someone said, the Binder lore, right? I like to explain it as like, I mean, I'm in high school. I wasn't familiar with that concept in that specific way, and I think that's a great way to put it, honestly. A lot of people don't believe that, sadly. All right, we'll end with Kowalski. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it is maybe Kowalski
Ooh,
calling
look,
from the
can I pull
ether.
you up on the screen? Look at this. Oh, you look very, very creepy. Oh, let me just say, Rem is calling in right now. Rem, I'm going to reach out to you. Can this wait for Tuesday? I want to have you on as a guest. I want you to be Tuesday's guest so you can talk about the experience you had. We'll play the video and everything. Can you hold for that? Let me know in the chat. All right, Kowalski, go ahead.
So I caught the tail end of your debate thing, which apparently a lot of people did. Great advertisement on your part. So I've been. Oh, were you gonna say something?
No, I was going to say, yeah, it was my bad.
Oh.
Yeah.
But something that I had noticed with this is the similarities we're seeing now when it comes to media back in like the 1900s when it was like yellow journalism was coming around, like what information do you have to trust, remember the Maine to hell with Spain, how yellow journalism kind of caused or was one of the main triggers for the Spanish-American War. And I'm just curious, is this like you as like a professional when it comes to journalism, do you see like the avenue out of this? Because it seems like that era ended more or less when like the field of journalism became like a profession, like with honor and credentials and that sort of thing. Your Walter Cronkites. Do you see anything like that happening again or no?
No, I mean, I think that romanticism of that sort of era is wrongheaded too. Because that era is, considered like people like bringing up like, oh, it was completely, there was no bias. There always is an implicit bias in reporting. I mean, just the simple fact of what you choose to report on is a bias. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand that, but like my whole thing on that is it seemed like after the Civil War there was a lot of telegraph lines that got laid all across the country. And that is when basically local news became national
Oh, you're
news
talking
now.
about
Like
right. Yes, no, that is another major thing. That's a great point. Yeah, I mean,
I'm just saying that like it seems like big technological disruptions occur to where like the media, not the media, the news, the information we get gets disrupted from its normal status quo. And then, it just gets disseminated out by people who are kind of amateurs. I'm just thinking, do you think where we're at now with the internet will ever go into like a professional field? Because, eventually they did get a hold of like the telegraph lines. And by the 20s, yellow journalism was dead. But, then it became just propaganda in the 20s, which led to a lot of Nazis. And then we had to kill all of them, which was a good thing. But then in the 50s, everything became hegemonic, and then there was no like voice against the Vietnam War from like what you would consider, like the mainstream sources until, other like local newspapers and stuff like that became, like I'm just curious, is there any end to this with the internet? Because it seems like it's so decentralized, you could never really have that. But
No.
I didn't know if there was anything you had seen on
I mean,
that.
just look at how even local stories get turned into national news stories in a way that would have never happened before the internet. Obviously there are specific rare cases, like, I think people quite familiar of, this is before the internet, like Amadou Diallo, what was it, 41 shots in New York City, reaching for his wallet. That was before the internet. But now pretty much every local story becomes a national story in some shape or form. I mean, just look at how the New York Post, in their gossip posts, how they'll just like grab random people's like TikToks and report like girl shows cleavage in local ice rink or something, and that's a story from them. It's like that wouldn't even have been a local news story at all, and they're turning it into a national event to commentate on. It's very bizarre. Kowalski, did I lose you? Oh, we lost Kowalski. Rem's got a quick thing to say. Rem, call in. I'll just call Rem. Why not? Boop, 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 boop. Uh-oh, now Rem's not picking up. Oh, here we go. Hey, Rem.
Rem calling.
Matt,
Oh, wait,
how's it going?
Can I put you on the feed?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so first things first, let's put this on paper, make this official. Are you available Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time if I give you a ring?
Yeah. I'll be available. That's 9 your time.
Yes, 9 my time. So 9 p.m.
Then
Eastern time.
That'd be 2 hours behind me or ahead of me. You're ahead of me.
Yeah, so 7 for you, I guess.
Sounds great. So real quick, I found some interesting information I received a laptop from someone.
Oh.
And it looks like it's from I think this is Douglas Lane's laptop. And
no.
I'm finding some really interesting pictures on here, Matt.
Ooh.
I don't know if he wants us out there, but again, he's for free speech, so
to be
he
fair,
should be for it.
To be fair, he said he didn't know. I'm gonna take him at his word. Obviously, it would have been really something if he was, because there are some people who probably are like, yeah, I do have a right to post dong of Hunter Biden.
Right.
Luckily,
Well,
he's not one of those guys. Yes, luckily he's not.
Well, too bad. There's like a lot of crimes, like a lot of crimes on here. Just wow. Yeah. So it's legally okay to post someone's genitalia if they've done crimes. That's just
well, also we don't even know if Hunter Biden's done crimes, because he hasn't been convicted or anything.
Man.
What's really funny is even when the Republicans made their case this week and listed 11 members of the Biden crime family, they still couldn't list Joe Biden. I mean, come on.
Well, you know. Yeah.
I mean, they're even in their wild speculation where they're still able to wildly speculate about like 9 people with the last name Biden. One of those people still are not Joe Biden. I mean, listen, if you want to take down any Biden, even Joe Biden, please show me the evidence. Let's do this. I'll be the first one to say convict him. But you gotta show me. You gotta prove it. You gotta prove it. You gotta prove it.
I honestly couldn't care less about any president, honestly. If they've done crimes, it's kind of that kind of makes no sense, because as soon as you become president, in my mind, you're a war criminal right off the bat.
Right.
Now, you can do good things to, like, you know, mitigate that harm that you do as a president. Your image and what you say, everyone listens to you, and but yeah, I don't know. Well, all presidents are war criminals. That's just my opinion. And I didn't used to be a fan of Douglas Lain. I just used to watch his clips, episodes or whatever, and it'd always be some sort of like excerpts of something from books he's helped publish. I think he did some sort of analysis using Michael Brooks's book. I have that, but that's back in Baltimore. I didn't finish that book, unfortunately.
Wow. What's the book?
One of Brooks' book.
I'm sorry, I misheard you. Yeah, oh, Michael Brooks.
No worries.
It's man, I'm against the web. Against the web. I'm not even looking it up yet. It took me a second to remember because I wanted to say the full name. Against the Web, a cosmopolitan answer to the new right. You know, it's amazing because these are the guys that we're now discussing. Like Michael Schellenberger is one of these guys. Matt Taibbi is one of these guys now. Barry Weiss. Barry Weiss is one of these guys. I mean, and people go, "Oh, I wonder where Michael Brooks would land on this." You don't have to wonder. You don't have to wonder.
I don't quite wonder. It is odd that a lot of the people he was trying to connect with and bring together, they all kind of
like it's very I mean, listen, I don't bring up Michael in conversations and arguments because I don't like doing that. I think it's not right. But no, I don't have to wonder. We're not doing that now, though. I'm just bringing up why I don't do it.
No, I understand.
But I don't need to wonder. I know where Michael would stand on this stuff because I fucking know him. You know, I know him.
For sure. No worries.
And that's why it's ridiculous when people are like, would he would not have made the question is, would he have been able to, because he was so good, would he have been able to stop some of these people from going far out there? That is the question. Right. That is the question. I don't know, though. I think very easily Michael Brooks would have become just another libtard, like how they call Sam Cedar and me and Emma. I mean, they lionize him because we lost him so early. They would have easily thrown him under the bus just like they do everybody else, I think.
Oh, probably. Yeah, he was definitely at his peak. I was enjoying the Michael Brooks show for sure. And just before I go, you can let me go after this. This would be a fun anecdote if I didn't get if this wasn't my ex I'm talking about. But many years ago, when Brooks was on the Majority Report, I IM'd the show, and I was the last IM of the day, and he read it off, and I just wanted him to wish my girlfriend at the time a happy birthday, and he did, and I still have that clip too. It was just kind of cool. He kind of I had a different name at the time. It was like That Heathen, and then Brooks is like the Heathen. He kind of like combined the two. I don't know. It was kind of funny. But that was the only interaction I had with Michael. Other than that, just him wishing my ex happy birthday.
Right. Right. He's, you know, I think everyone's got some great Michael Brooks moments, even if it's something as small as that, because, you know, it's fun. It's cool
Yeah.
stuff to have that sort of small connection with someone that you liked. Yeah.
Well,
Rem, I look forward to our conversation. Do you think we got
you're
like,
gonna love it.
do you
You're
think we
gonna
got like
love
a,
it. I
do you
got a
think,
lot.
do you think we got like a 30-minute episode out of it at least?
I don't know. I got quite a bit to talk about, and Renee's
Oh
been
no,
helping me with some
I
research.
was worried. We got more than 30 minutes. That's great. I was worried that maybe, you know, sometimes these back and forths you maybe have like 20 minutes to talk about. But if you think we got more, then that's perfect. I was just making
I
sure we
hope
had
so.
enough. Yeah. No.
I hope
Cool.
I really hope so. I think you'll find this interesting. So I just for funsies I wrote like a Substack article to kind of sum up
Oh, don't bring it up.
what
Let's
happened.
DM it to me. I'm gonna grab the video. I'm gonna read the article. So I'm as my prep for Tuesday. Really looking forward to talking Tuesday. Let's do this Tuesday.
Appreciate it, Matt.
9 p.m.
Appreciate
Eastern
it.
time.
Sounds great.
Let me know in the DM as well how you want me to introduce you, title you, like, you know, if you want whatever name you want me to use, and also any sort of title. You could say, you know, writer with your Substack, you know, or just activist, or whatever you want, literally, whatever you want.
Right. Not a writer. I'm more of a filmmaker. So
Put that in the DM, and I'll make sure that's how I introduce you on Tuesday. Have a great night, Rem.
You too, Matt. Take it easy.
Peace. All right, folks. I think that's the night. That's it for tonight. I went way longer. I went 2 hours. I did a 3-hour show when you count the debate. Oh my god. Oh my god. Let me read the super chats. Renee, let's save this. Oh, you just reminded me with your call. Because I'm crazy and out of my mind. Guess what I'm doing Monday? I've accepted. You know, let me take Renee's call really quick, just to tell him this. Renee.
Hello, this is
hold on, Renee.
Uncle Adi again.
Renee, hello, Uncle
I see
Adi.
that you had a delightful, useful idiot tonight.
Well, Uncle Adi, hold on. I got something more important to tell you because we should save this conversation for Monday. Yes, that's right, Monday.
Monday.
Uncle Adi,
Montag.
listen. Yeah,
Okay.
Listen to me, Uncle Adi. Ready for this one? Wait. Listen. Uncle Adi, wait.
Everybody,
Listen.
don't be surprised. I did research for Rem.
Hey, listen. I didn't make my announcement that I'm doing a show Monday, and let me tell you why I'm doing a show Monday. I took your call because you're going to be interested in this one.
Okay.
So, YouTuber Bad and Pinata was very, very upset with my pointing out historical fact that Nazis did indeed flee to South America in the aftermath of World War II. He's very upset.
I mean, imagine how he would consider, and a lot of Argentinians. There was a guy that used to come into the chat called Juan Gomez, and he was like pissed that I called like even like Franco a fascist and shit like that.
Right. So you're familiar with Bad and Pinata, right? You're familiar with him?
I've had beef with Bad and Pinata. You want the whole team?
So are you ready? Are you ready? Hold on. Are you ready?
Right.
On Monday, I will be having a discussion with Bad and Pinata.
Okay, so do you want any help with the?
I mean, here's the thing.
South American weeb information. I try to give a lot.
Here's the thing, though. Like, it's gonna be such a silly conversation because he's coming at it from a place that never happened. Like, he legitimately thinks I'm blaming South America, specifically Argentina, for that shooting. Like, he thinks I'm saying that Argentina radicalized that shooter. Absolutely not. I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that at all.
What's the origin of the shooter? Because I've heard that.
No, he was a Mexican American. My whole point for bringing up any historical fact was because people were saying online that Latinos and Hispanics could not be white supremacists. So my point was to show a historical example
about that.
A historical example where that is the case, to show that not only does it happen today, It's happened for decades.
Yeah, Rem wants to say that Bad Empana is a transphobe.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Well, I'm just, I think
so Bad Empana can't. Guys, don't be surprised, but Bad Empana is a cop, I think.
I mean, the reason I'm doing it is because it's so disingenuous that how do you not? Because it's gonna be I think it's gonna be very funny, because he's gonna be, from what I understand, he's gonna be very emotional and going crazy.
Right.
It's gonna be it's gonna be me going, but I didn't say that. But I didn't say that. Here's the proof of here's the literal tweet. It's not even a clip out of it. It's literally a screenshot. That it doesn't even say Argentina. Doesn't even say Argentina.
Right. I think in that context, I sent you an information about that. I sent you about that esoteric Hitlerian Miguel Serrano. And I guess the other thing that you need to know is that basically later after the war, and I was talking about this to Misha, but basically the Peronistas, as they were sympathetic to the Nazis and stuff like that, they used them as a corridor. Especially Evita Peron.
Let me just say, the weirdest thing about this whole thing is that I literally had people from Mexico, from Paraguay, from Uruguay, from Chile, like you, from Peru, from Brazil, reach out to me and go,
right.
Not only is it true what you said about South America and where I live specifically, but also it is even extremely true for Argentina. And it is amazing to see our Argentinian neighbors be the only people having a problem with this. They're the only people. I received no blowback from anyone else anywhere else. I even received support specifically from those countries I just named. Yet the Argentinians were the only ones who had any issue with me simply pointing out historical fact. It was an amazing thing to see.
Victimized or called out.
It was and I didn't even say Argentina.
Right. The lady doth protest too much.
Right.
Right. I think Bad Empana is on this kind of like a sensationalism scandal, trying to cook up drama, as probably Rem is squawking about in the chat. But basically, he does a lot of things. He's trying to be like the only purveyor, like in the area and shit like that. That of course,
the weirdest thing is he's claiming that because some panel that multiple different Jewish organizations have criticized over the years, some panel in the 90s claimed that only 158 Nazis fled to Argentina, that's the official number. It was only 158. Never mind all the details that have come out over the past few decades that literally have uncovered lists of thousands with full names.
There's not only that. There's also like if there's any Croatian, Serbian.
Oh wait, hold on 1 second.
Anybody from ex-Yugoslavia? There was also like
1 second. I just lost you. 1 second.
The Nazi allies.
Hold on. I just lost you. I'm sorry. Say that again.
The what's it called? The Havash. Those guys. Their leader Anton Pavelic fled there thanks to the efforts of the Vatican and Eva Peron, and she had like a relationship because they were like there was like a Nazi officer that was like in the Abwehr who spoke Spanish, who was Argentinian, and he kind of had the ear with Eva Peron and stuff like that.
Right. Well, be on the. Send me anything you think I should. DM me on Twitter. Keep it all there because I'm gonna lose it all. Send me anything you think I should see.
Right. No, I think basically the question is why does he think he has to speak on behalf of South America?
He's not even. I listen literally this whole time because of his name. And he speaks. I thought he was.
No, he's Greek. He's Greek Australian, so probably John knows
knows
about him. But I mean, basically,
I have closer relations to South America than he does.
No, he's living there. Let's leave it at that, of course. But I mean, the other thing is that he's gone into an anti-Semitic thing, and I'm not. I mean, this is me. I'm kind of like the evil bad guy, and in the Twitter lore, and I mean in the chat lore and shit like that. But I mean, regarding like Israel and stuff like that, all justifiable. That's another. Listen, how the victims
well,
of
he goes well from what I was seeing, he goes well beyond.
Right, he went that route.
He goes like full on. Everyone in Israel should.
Anti-Semitic,
yes,
right.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, my point of view is like, yeah, you could do that, but then you're kind of like feeding into the same problem of like removing people from their land and shit like that, and that's me saying that. But I mean,
oh no, he thinks he thinks even further than that. From what I've seen, he thinks
elimination and shit like that, right?
Yes.
I mean,
but he's one of the biggest YouTube voices for leftist South American coverage, which is kind of shocking.
Right,
to
now
me.
he's now turned into a Strazerite, right? Yeah. Ustasha, that's the name of the Croatian Christo-fascist, which might ring a bell regarding like what's happening now with Matt Walsh and stuff like that. In fact, with Rem. Oh, and Rem made a funny video about Weed Lord fantasizing with now he's called Trans Lord, and he shared it on her YouTube. If you can ask her about it, so you can like say goodbye and show the video.
All right, send it to me. But
okay.
Send me all this stuff. I gotta get going. I gotta jump now. It's past midnight.
Okay.
Yep. I gotta read these super chats. So
Uncle
Monday and then
says,
Tuesday with Rem. Tuesday with Rem.
Everyone.
What's that?
Right.
Have a great night. Yeah. Peace.
Right. Okay. Peace.
And anyone else who, because I know I have a lot of listeners of South American and Mexican descent, Brazilian, well, Brazil's in South America. If you would like to share something, because the problem with researching certain stuff is that there might be some good material I miss in my own searching for stuff, because it's in a different language and might not hit Google. Like my keyword searches might not, Google might not catch the information I'm looking for if it's in a different language. So please feel free to send me anything you think I should know. I mean, I'm mostly taking this as I'm gonna point out how disingenuous he's being, but at some point I'm going to actually have to address the lies he's gonna make about how only 158 Nazis moved to Argentina, which is fucking bullshit. And that doesn't have to be something that you lie about. It's not representative of the Argentinian people, but the fact that you deny it is representative. If you're an Argentinian who denies that history, then it's very representative of who you are, at least. Because as an American, I do not deny any part of our horrible history. Hell, the fucking Nazis copied us. They looked at how we treated the natives in this country. You cannot deny our history. Don't deny yours. It's very simple. And they're going to try to do the whole, the United States is way worse, way more. Oh, no doubt about it. There's no debate there. The United States got more Nazis, white supremacists than probably all those countries combined. There's no doubt about that. If there's not I'm not talking about a competition of who's worse, because the U.S. wins that one hands down. No doubt about it. You think my feelings are hurt if you say that? I do a show about it. I'm one of the only leftist streamers who literally do a show that's 90% talking about right-wing fascists, white supremacists, neo-Nazis. That's what Doomed is all about. I'm just saying it happened there in your countries as well, and we got to talk about it. Because as an anti-fascist, you have to tackle anti-fascism everywhere. If you don't see how this is a global threat and how the far right is working in tandem all around the world, then I don't know what to tell you. You're missing the, what is it, the trees for the whatever it's called? I don't even fucking know. It's too late. Missing the forest for the trees, right? I mean, all right, folks. Have a great night. Oh, wait, super chats. Let me read super chats. Foresto, the difference between disinformation and fraud is such an incredibly thin and contextual hair to split that I'm amazed he tried. Celeste with a super chat. Sup, can y'all on Leftist Mafia cover talk about the anti-undocumented immigrant laws DeSantis signed recently? It's getting scary. Thanks. Right, we will try. I will let them know. Ezekiel Mordecai with a $25 super chat. We are all doomed, thanks Detective Binder. Denise Prince with a super chat. A super sticker. Thank you, Denise. That was very kind. Over on Twitch. Let's see. Valinova gives me 500 bits. I think you are giving Doug too much credit. He can't be this fucking dumb. Feels more like a weak pivot. Oh, thank you, Valinova. Use these as Twitch emotes too. Thank you. Valinova also gave out 5 community gift subs. Thank you, Valinova. Twitch was all yours today. Oh, and there might have been, I gotta look it up really quick so I don't miss those. There might have been, on the debate stream, there might have been some chats. I gotta make sure I hit those. Let's see. Oh, there was a few. Renee with a few super chats here. Basically, Guy is so focused on the bad wolf, he isn't aware that there are weasels in the henhouse and he's working for the weasels. That was well put. Economic influence, but billionaires have more control of discourse, which could be the obvious Marxist take, Doug. Tisk tisk, right? The irony is you've been disinformed yourself, right? Themic with a super chat. Been here for 5 minutes and my guy has already repeatedly lied. Gotta love these truth warriors who always seem to be in their own world. C. de Geminor with a super chat. What does he think the government is labeling disinformation? Right. Well, that's it, everyone. I'm gonna raid. I'm just gonna raid whoever shows up. It's not that many people to raid on Twitch today, so I'm just gonna. Here's someone I never raid. I don't think. Let me just do them because they're never on when I'm on. Pixels Mixels. Let's do that. What are they talking about, first of all? I don't know. But let's do it. All right, everyone. Have a great night, and I will see you all on Monday with the Bad and Pinata debate discussion, and then on Tuesday with Doomed. And then there'll be a Scam Economy episode sometime next week, too. Christ. And then Leftist Mafia, Majority Report. Jeez. Patreon.com/MattBinder if you want to. Also, YouTube.com/MattBinder, Twitch.tv/MattBinder. I'll see you all next time.